basically the compensating wage differential theory tells us that job characteristics will affect the wage rates, okay, in a way that usually the good job characteristics must be associated with low wage rate, and bad job characteristics, so people don't like, those job characteristics people don't like, are associated with higher wage rates. Okay? So like job security and job risk, all those things. So it seems like the theory tells us that if we look for people who work in desirable jobs, okay, that job has good characteristics. Let's say safe job and probably working in clean environment, okay, people, the environment that people want to have, like with stronger job security, those things, okay, then it seems like these people should get lower wages, okay, and people who work in dangerous jobs, okay, and people who work in jobs that people do not like, okay, people want to avoid if they can, must get higher wages, okay. So that's the basic theory. However, is it true in reality that bad job characteristics usually gives you higher wages and good job characteristics usually gives you lower wages? True or false? It seems like it's not, right? Usually jobs that people do like, jobs that have good characteristics, people do like, generally pay higher wages, right? And the less desirable jobs pays you lower wages. So it seems like it goes, the opposite direction, okay, to what the theory predicts. Okay? So that's actually the basic question, right? Why do compensating wage differentials often seem to go to the wrong way, go to the other way, not the right way, the other way, okay? Well, how can we explain this? How can we answer this? Actually, obviously, one obvious answer is the theory is wrong, right? The theory may be quite wrong. We are probably talking nonsense. Probably the theory should tell us that why good jobs gives you higher wages, why bad jobs gives you lower wages. But so that's the one way to go. Okay, we just completely discredit the theory of compensating wage differentials. Probably it does not work that way. Okay, but there are other ways of answering this question within the framework of compensating wage differentials. One way of answering it, obviously, that what is quite important is that first thing is we have already looked at this. Preferences are different. People have different preferences. Okay, so there may be people who like dangerous jobs. Okay, so who are willing to get paid less to work in, let's say, exciting, more dangerous environment. So if these jobs are, taken by those people who like such kind of risk, okay, they may be working for lower wages. So it's like we cannot determine whether this person, okay, really likes risk or not by just looking at them because they are, different from us. Okay? So that's one possibility. So we have already talked about this, right? So in the last class we have seen this diagram that this is wage differential, and if this is risk loving, right? People who are willing to work in risky jobs for lower wages than safer job. And if labor demand curve happen to look like this, right, we may have negative wage differentials. So this may look strange to this majority of people who do not like the risk. Okay? This may be strange, may look strange to most people, but it's still quite possible within the theory of compensating wage differentials. Actually, this is working. This is how the compensating wage differential works in this case, because this risk is not a bad characteristic. It's actually a good characteristic for these people. So they are willing to work for lower wages. Okay? So that can probably explain some cases. Okay? But another quite important thing about this theory is that we assume everything else is equal. Okay? So this everything else. So what we are assuming here is that there are two workers who are exactly the same, except one person works in a dangerous job, one person works in a safe job. Okay? Then this theory tells us that this person who works in safe job should be paid less than the person who works in dangerous job. Okay? And this everything else equal includes observed characteristics such as probably their gender, their education level, their experience in work, in jobs, those kind of things. We can actually see the data. But we have to assume that these people are also identical in unobserved ways, meaning that we cannot capture in the data. For example, the ability should be equal. Okay? So even if these people look identical in terms of observed characteristics, they work in this area for the same number of years and they have the same education, but still people may be different in terms of their productivity. Okay? They do differ in terms of their productivity, even if they seem very, very similar. Okay? Some people just work better and some people work not that much. Okay? So in that case, there are these differences. So if we accept there are these kind of differences, and these kind of differences may somehow distort the theory of compensating wage differentials. Okay? How does it work? One way of thinking about it is this. Let's think of person A and B. Okay? Person A has higher ability. So you can say this simply means that this person is more productive. Okay? And this person is lower ability. And this person is less productive. Okay? So, let's say if an employer hires A or B, okay, these two people will be paid according to their productivity. Okay? And since this person has higher ability in safe job, let's say, assume this person will get paid, let's say, per month $3,000. Okay? And this person is not that productive, so let's say this person gets $2,500. Okay? Make it less. $2,200. Okay? Get it? So there is $800 difference in terms of their productivity, let's say. And risky job or less desirable job, you can just change it like a desirable characteristics to undesirable characteristics. This person works in a risky job, then this person would not work in a risky job unless this person is paid more than $3,000. Okay? So let's say this person is paid $3,500. Okay? So this person's reservation price for risky job is $500. So you can see here is that the compensating wage differential works. Okay, risky job pays higher wages than this person. And same thing for this lower ability. Let's say the lower ability person also has $500 reservation price. So this person would take risky job only if she's paid $2,700, $500 more than the safe job. Okay. So when you see the compensating wage differentials, it works this way. Okay. But however, in reality, okay, what we actually see in the data is only one job that they actually take. We don't see both, right? So let's say high ability individual takes safe job, so gets paid $3,000. Safe and $3,000. And low ability individual pays risky and $2,700. Okay? So we don't see these two numbers. We see only the circled ones. Okay? So what we see, okay, safe job pays $3,000. Risky job pays $2,700. Right? So it seems like safe job pays more than the risky job. Okay? So if we see enough of this data, then it looks like compensating wage differential works, does not work. Okay? Because these people get better job, better, safer, and higher paying job. This person has lower, the riskier and lower paying jobs. Okay? So it seems like the opposite directions. Okay? So actually, when we say the compensating wage differential, the theory of compensating differential, actually it applies like this way. Okay? These two people have, actually it's not the two people, the same person. The same person has exactly identical characteristics, including ability and everything. And you see that these people will get paid more in a risk job. Okay? Also the same thing here. But what we actually see in the data is we cannot observe both. We can observe only one choice, the actual choice. So the actual choice may gives you a wrong impression. Okay? Questions? So you can explain actually quite a few observations we can see in the data. Obviously, I'm not saying that this is the only explanation why the safe job pays. It seems to be the better job pays higher wages and not that good job pays lower wages. It's one of the explanations from the view of compensating wage differentials. Questions? Okay, so that's what we can discuss about this. Okay, let's see some applications of compensating wage differentials. Okay, this is the layoffs and compensating wage differentials. What does it mean? It means something like this. Think of a job. Okay, let's start with this. This is a work leader choice model. This shows a wage rate of W0. Okay? So think of an individual who chooses point P. Okay? That's L0. Okay? Or working hour is H0. Okay? So in this case, without any restriction on work hours, okay, these people gets these hours of work and gets wage rate of W0. Okay? Now, let's assume another situation. Let's say in this area, let's say there is a, let's say this is close to a, let's say some type of resort town. Okay, let's say ski resort. There is a ski resort. Okay, and ski resort opens only in ski seasons, right? Only probably 3-4 months a year. Okay. And let's say the ski resort opens. So these ski resorts need to hire people who work in this ski resort. Okay. Let's say this job is, let's say, a local, let's say, burger restaurant, let's say McDonald's. Okay. Ski resorts also has McDonald's. The difference between the ski resorts and this job is that this job you can have a year round. Okay. And ski resort job, let's say you can have only 4 months a year. Okay. So you start working from when? I don't know. From November to, or I don't go skiing, so I'm not sure. But anyway, so only the winter time. Okay, about 4 months a year. Okay. Then the question is how much this resort should pay to their workers. Okay, one way of thinking about it is that you think about this 4-month job as a layoff risk. So meaning that this has a 100% of being laid off after 4 months. Right? Because the resort just closes down. You cannot work in McDonald's in closed resort. Okay? So you have to find a new job after 4 months. Okay? So let's think of this way. So in this situation, think about this. So this L0 shows the worker's choice in a job that has, let's say, year-round availability. Let's say this person wants to work for, 10 months a year. Okay? This is the person's optimal choice, working for 10 months a year. Okay? But now there is a job that offers only 4 months a year. Okay? And if this job offers you the wage rate W0, the same wage as this, the McDonald's in normal McDonald's, would this person work in this job? Let's say this job offers you same wage, but gives you a job for only 4 months. Would you work it? Would you work in that place? Why not? Because if you look at the indifference curve, if you take this job, your choice will be point Q, right? Okay? So this is only 4 months. And your indifference curve goes down, meaning that your utility level will be lower. Okay? So if it offers you the same wage, but asks you to work only 4 months, then nobody wants to work in this job. Okay? So for this job, to attract people, what should they do? They should, obviously, raise the wage. Okay? So in this case, if they offer wage W1, and this person is now indifferent between working in this normal restaurant for 10 months or working in 4 months, working in this ski resort for only 4 months. So higher pay. Okay? So you can explain why this type of jobs pays you higher wages. Okay? Make sense? Is it true? Actually, I don't know. Is it true that these type of jobs pay better wages than normal McDonald's jobs? Or not? No? I think they should, isn't it? Ski resort. It's cold. Even without the layoff risk, I think normally people would want to go there and work there for the same wage, right? You can get the same job at the same pay in a civilized world, and then you ask to go up to the mountain and go there. And I think that's another compensated wage differential thing. Okay, and it's very difficult to commute. Probably you have to go up the mountain and stuff. Okay, you probably don't like it. So that's probably one thing when you talk about ski resort. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that they should pay you more. And plus, there is this risk. But have you has you experience in working in ski resort? These type of places? No? Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. So, no, I would be surprised if they do not pay higher wage. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, you can actually kind of extend this theory that to a job that has higher job security and lower job security. Okay? Then you can actually, can use the same theory. Let's say there are two kinds of jobs, okay, that has higher expected job security. So this job lasts, can last very long. And this job, it has much higher layoff risk. Okay? Let's say probably this job is pretty, this company is, let's say, is a pretty new one. Okay? You are not sure whether this company will exist a year from now. Okay? Then, if you do the same thing in these two companies, then people probably take the job that has higher security. People would avoid this job that has lower security. Okay? So these jobs should pay you better wages to attract you to work for their company, okay? If everything else equal. Okay? Make sense? So actually the compensation wage differentials can explain quite a few examples of wage differentials. Okay? It may not look like compensating wage differentials. Some is obviously compensating wage differentials. But for some jobs, the wage differences don't look like compensating wage differential, but using compensating wage differential theory, you can actually explain why that happens. I've heard that there is a job that you work in a boat and you go on an open sea and work for like 4 months or something, and you get 1 year's pay, right? As a fisherman, like fishing what? Fishing shrimps, whatever. Okay. No, I have seen in a TV like extreme job something, and these people just go out and catch fish in really cold place, like the Northern Sea. It's really cold, and it lasts only for like 2 or 3 months, I think. Okay, but it pays very high wage, like more than usually more than a year's salary that these people can normally expect. Okay, so what is the difference? That differential, I mean, obviously it looks like a compensating wage differentials, right? So it's risky and it's cold, so nobody wants to work if they are paid the same wage, right? Obviously, so they have to raise the wage. Okay, and this because of the weather condition and this the fish, right? So they cannot have this fishing in normal areas in normal times. They have to do it only when it's cold and in cold areas. So that's the only way they can catch this fish, and to attract people, they should pay higher wages. So that is obviously compensating wage differentials. Okay. So some characteristics are generally, some characteristics are easy to spot as compensating wage differentials. Okay. Another example that we can think of is the employee benefits. Okay. So the workers are paid usually the wages, but quite often they also not paid. They also get some benefits, fringe benefits. You may hear the fringe benefits, or non-cash. So it's not the salary, but the benefits that people do appreciate. So something like payments in kind. So health insurance. Okay, in Korea's case, it's less important because Korean population has a national health insurance. But in places where there is no national health insurance, the people can have private health insurance through their employer. Or some Korean companies gives like a supplementary health insurance to their employees. Okay, So that's that's in a way it's a payment, but not by cash in kind, right? Or paid leave or vacation. So you can go on a vacation for, let's say, 1 week, 2 weeks without deduction in your pay. Okay, so you work less, but you pay the same. Okay, some companies even give you money to go on a vacation. Okay, not only it's a paid, but also a subsidized vacation. Okay, so that can be fringe benefits. Or some companies gives you subsidized housing. Okay, they give you housing for lower price, or they may give you some subsidies or loan with interest rate lower than the market rate. Okay, to help you find your house to your housing. Okay, so there is obviously another benefits. Okay, you can think of many different kinds, like some companies give you free lunch. Okay, some companies give you meal coupons, or some companies even give you, the free lunch at their site. Okay, so I have seen on TV like a few weeks ago this company, this IT company in Korea. They give a very good lunch or dinner, I think, even every day. It's like a Google. Yeah, but this company imitates Google. It's a Korean company, so it's imitating Google. So they hire chefs and cook for their employees. Okay, it looks very good. Okay, and that kind of things are the examples of payments in kind. Or the non-cash benefits can be deferred compensation, meaning that this is money that accumulated for you, but you cannot use it right now. When you retire or you quit this job, you get this lump sum payment. Okay? Or some companies may have their own pension plan. Okay? In Korea's case, since we have national pension, so the private pension plan is not that popular. Okay? But it is possible. So what we can assume here is obviously the workers value their cash salary and the non-cash employee benefits. Okay? So they like both. The value may be different. Some people probably value this. Some people have different preference, but still we can assume that these two individuals, the workers, do like these both. So we can think of what? Indifference curve that looks like this. And from employer's point of view, okay, whether they pay the wage, the X dollars, whether they pay employee benefits X dollars, let's say it's the same. Okay? So it's 1-to-1. We can think of like this is, so you can think of this as offer curve. Okay? So with competitive markets, okay, this shows the basically, the zero profit isocost curve. Okay? So for companies like paying, let's say, half as wage and half as non-cash benefit, it's the same, okay, as paying whole thing in wage. Okay? So these are the offers. So workers will choose different combinations depending on their preference. Okay? So worker A, for example, has higher wage and lower benefit. Okay? Worker B chooses relatively lower wage but higher benefit. Okay? Get that? That makes sense? So what we have actually a hedonic wage function that is negatively sloped. Okay? So meaning usually that lower benefit should be associated with higher wages, right? And everything else equal, higher benefit should be associated with lower wages. Okay? Make sense? So wages and the relationship between wage and employee benefits in terms of the theory of compensatory wage differential should be negative. Everything else equal. Yeah. Is it true? Does Google pay you less because the Google gives you good lunch? Right? I'm not sure how much they pay, but I'm pretty sure that they pay you quite decent money, I guess. Okay. So what's the thing? Okay, you can actually introduce. Okay, these are the implications. Oh, yeah, there are a few things that I want to talk about. So this is what the theory tells us. Second, forcing consumption of a specific bundle of benefits and salary is likely to lower the worker's utility. What does it mean? It means something like this. So it's like safety regulations. So if everything else, if the labor market is perfectly functioning, workers that have different preferences maximize each person's utility. So some people want to have lower benefit, higher wage. Some people want to have higher benefit, lower wage. However, let's assume that the government comes in and say that you have to give your employees benefit that is higher than this level. For example, the government comes in and say that every company should give free lunch. Okay, let's say, like Google, you have to hire chefs and give free lunch all of your employees. Okay? So something like this. So this company had no free lunch, but paid higher wages. So this person was happy with that actually, and this company gives you, good lunch but lower wages. But the government says, okay, you cannot have this. So what happens? For this person, probably, no change. But how about this person? This person cannot have this choice, okay? Because every company now have to give lunch. So it would be something like this. Okay? Make sense? So we'll be worse off. Okay? In this case, there is no question of misconception, misperception of the risk, because this is pretty obvious. This is the thing that you cannot. You cannot mistake. You have free lunch, it's a free lunch. You have health insurance, health insurance. There's no question of, they're actually knowing the value or not. So this is only one way. This type of policy will make some people worse off. Okay? Because these people probably would not that appreciate the free lunch much. Okay? Or like forcing every company to give, let's say, free education. Give, let's say, education subsidy to their employees' children. Okay? Let's say. The government has this policy that you have to give, let's say, you have to subsidize your employees' children's education. It seems like a good idea, but think about it. Let's say you are a single person, okay? You don't have any plan to have a child in the future. Why do I care? Right? So probably if that's the case, you are like, okay, I don't want to go to a company that has very good benefits for families, since I'm not planning to have big family. So try to avoid it. So lower benefits but higher wages. Okay? But now let's say the government says that you cannot have this. So then everyone should accept lower pay, okay, but higher benefits. Okay? So it does not help these type of people. Okay? That's the third case I want to make. Think about it. Okay, so what it tells us is that individuals will choose the packages according to their preference. Okay? So, if you're an employer, okay, and then you want to have a certain type of people working for your company, okay, how do you find them? There are a few ways, but one of the ways of doing it is to use actually the benefits to attract people. How? For example, let's say you want to attract people for your purpose of the business. Let's say you are in a business of making clothes for mothers, okay? Or for babies, okay? So what type of employees do you want? You want to have employees that know their customers' needs. Probably what you want is very family-oriented people. You don't want to have a single person who hates kids, okay? So you have to try to avoid people who hate kids, and you have to, hire people who love kids. How would you do that? One way of doing it is you design a benefit that gives very good benefits to your kids, okay? So in this company, if you have a kid, let's say you get your kid will get free. Our company will subsidize, your kid's education throughout the college, okay? And then we can give you pretty good. Let's say, if you have a child, let's say your child is sick, and you can have, quite the generous leave for your family purposes. Let's say your family has your child is sick, then you can have a day off without, any, the reduction to your pay. So it's very family-oriented benefits. Obviously, however, you have to offer lower wages, okay, than otherwise. So it's basically these companies will give you very good benefits, family benefits, but relatively low wages. Then what kind of people will be attracted to this company? People who like these type of benefits will be naturally attracted. So people who are very family-oriented, who have, let's say, planning to have many kids, okay, who like kids, are generally attracted to this type of company. Okay? Make sense? Right? So that is the way that companies can actually work. Or if you want to attract, let's say, young, single people. Let's say your main customer base is those young single people. What kind of things are for young single people? That was way past in my. That was long time ago. So I used to be young and single, so I forgot that what attract them. Probably you know them. I don't know. You sell baseball caps, okay? I know. Okay. It's beyond my ability to imagine. Okay, so if you want that kind of company, that kind of people, obviously, what you have to offer, not the education subsidy for the kids. You probably have to offer different kinds of benefits, right? For example, like some type of leisure activities, right? You probably organize some kind of company trips to ski resort or whatever, just to some dangerous place, okay? Or you probably offer very high wages, but not much of benefits for the family anyway, okay? So if that's kind of the employees that you look for, then you can actually intellectually design your pay package to attract these type of people. And the people do actually, the companies do use this type of packaging, right, to attract different types of people. Okay? In some cases, it's obvious actually. Questions? Then why do Google offer free dinner? Why do they offer like a fantastic gym in their workplace? Why do they do that? And why does this company, the Korean company, is imitating Google to give good lunch and dinner? Have you thought about it? Why would they do that? More productive. In a way, but giving free lunch, free dinner is not the only way to make them productive. Right, isn't it? Exactly, actually. I have read the interview, personnel department interview at Google, and then this was the question, why do you offer those kind of benefits? The answer was, we want our employees to stay long in our company. Think about it, you know? So they can work anytime in our workplace. Okay, they don't have to go out for lunch or dinner. You know, they don't have to worry about whether I should go out and buy lunch or dinner, and they can do it everything in the workplace. So they don't have to leave. Okay? So that's the way of making people. So the Google try to attract people who is willing to work for very long hours if they want. I mean, they don't force you, but if you are committed to that kind of jobs, and then taking advantage of free lunch, free dinner, not the lunch, free dinner or free gym, those kind of things. Okay, is the best used when you work for a very long time. So actually, the Korean company, I have seen it. It's basically the same strategy. So these workers in this company, they work for very long hours. They often sleep, actually, in their offices. They even have this sleeping quarter. So I thought isn't it a labor exploitation? These people are just spend like hours and hours. I have seen this employee. She packs her bag, every Monday, and goes to her office, and comes back home on Friday. Can you believe it? So wow, that's the disciple of Google. This is basically the same thing. They're trying to. This is an IT company, and it's trying to do pretty much the same, to imitate what they do. Anyway, what employers do, they have hidden intentions. They do not do it because they are benevolent. They want something out of you. That's why they do something for you. So anyway, so that's how they use these benefit packages. Okay, so one thing that from the previous slide we have learned is that the higher benefits associated with lower wage rate, and lower benefits should be associated with the wage rate, higher wage rate. But in reality, it seems like usually higher benefits come with higher benefits, lower wages come with lower benefits. Okay, how come? Actually, if you think of the example of the ability difference, you can explain it pretty easily why it happens. So think of person A and person B. Okay, for person B is much more productive than person A. Okay? So the companies are willing to pay more to this person B, okay? Either in wage or in benefits. So you can see that the whole isocost line for person B is much higher than for person A. Okay? So let's think of these people are those people that Google trying to attract. So Google attracts very higher ability individuals. Okay? So Google asks you a bunch of strange questions, when you apply for a job. There is a famous quite a few years ago. There is a billboard. In California, there was in an expressway, there was a billboard, okay? And nobody understood what it was, okay? And at the end, at the bottom of the billboard, it says, if you know the answer, call Google. Okay? That was the kind of exam, it's a test. So if you don't know what it means, obviously you are not for Google. Okay? So it was a math question. Because Google values math, so it's a math question. So if you don't know if you cannot read it, obviously you are not for Google. Even if you read it, if you don't know the answer, you are not for Google. Okay, if you know the answer, contact Google. Okay? That was one way of attracting people. So let's say they are trying to attract these type of people. So their offer curve or cost line is much higher. So if we think of this individual choice, the choice should be EY. Okay, and as you can see that you compare the package of X and Y, higher benefits and higher wages, lower benefits and lower wages. Okay, so you can easily see that if we look at these 2 points, that it looks like benefits and wages are positively related, not negatively related. But for the same individual, it is negatively related. Okay? Meaning that if you are a person who works in Google, let's say, you move to a company that gives you lower benefits than Google, then these people should get higher wages. Isn't it obvious that you work in a Google with very good benefits, but let's say you move to a company, let's say, doing the same thing, okay? But let's say it gives you lower benefits. Would you move if they don't pay you higher wage? It doesn't make any sense, right? So it should be that this negative relationship should be observed for the same person. Okay? But it may not be the negative relationship across different individuals because of ability differences. Okay? So so when we follow the same individual, the moving from one job to another, usually the compensation wage differential shows up much more clearly when you follow up the same individual throughout their history. So we can follow up the individual, what kind of jobs they move, and usually the compensation wage differential shows up. Okay, questions? Okay, now let's look at some of the textbook questions. Think of the 5-4, page 231, 5-4. This is a very basic exercise, numerical exercise. Let's say the workers have this preference. So wage and X is the proportion of firm's air that is composed of toxic pollutants. So if it's clean job, X equals 0. Dirty job, X equals, let's say, 1. Okay? And clean job pays you $16. Okay? Then what is the wage in the dirty job? Figure it out. So clean job pays $16. What is the wage in the dirty job? Let's say people have this preference. $400? 20? 36? How would you do it? The thing is that if the market is perfectly competitive, right? What the workers get from clean job and dirty job should be the same. Okay. So the clean job, what is the utility level? That is 4, right? Okay. So the dirty job should give level 4. So 4 minus 2, right? So wage should be 36, right? 6 squared. Okay. So what is the compensating wage differential? 20. 20 is the compensating wage differential. Okay. So this is a very basic numerical exercise of compensating wage differentials. Okay, look at, let's do one more. 5-9. There are two types of farming tractors on the market, FT250 and FT500. So there are two farming tractors. $500. FT250 is more prone to accidents. So over the lifetime, 1 in 10 FT250 is expected to result in an accident. So probability of accident, FT250 is what? 1 out of 10. So 0.1. How about FT250? 1 out of 25. So what is it? 0.004. Is it? 0.04. And result of death, probability of fatal accident. Probability of fatal accident is 1 in 1,000, so 0.001, and 5,000, so 0.0002. Is it? Yeah, I guess. And the price of FT okay, and 2,000 of each model is sold. So 2,000 price, sales. 2,000 each. What is the statistical value of a life of a farmer? Figure it out. What is the statistical value of life of a farmer? How would you calculate it? How would you do that? So what happens here is that FT500 is safer than FT250. And the difference in probability of fatal accident, okay, because it's life, it's a fatal accident, okay, is lower by 0.0008, right? So the difference is 0.008. And to reduce the probability of fatal accident by 0.008, the farmers are willing to pay how much more? 1, 2,000. Okay. So what is the value of statistical life? So this is to save 8 lives out of 10,000. They are willing to pay more, $12,000 more. So you have to think of only one life. That is the 8 lives out of 10,000. So to make it willing to save one life, how much they are willing to pay more? That should be 12,000, right? Divided by 0.0008. Okay. Okay, and other questions, please do it yourselves, okay? Okay, so after the midterm, what you are going to study is the human capital. Let me just give you a brief introduction of the subject. So in the human capital, what you are going to learn, basically 2 things, schooling and training. So schooling is about the education in schools, and training is the training the workers get after they finish school. So it's on-the-job training. So these are 2 main modes of people's way of accumulating their human capital or improve their own productivity. Okay? So that's the theory that we are going to. So the human capital is just a set of abilities and skills embodied in a worker that can be rented out to employers. So this is what the workers have. Okay, so workers go out to work for an employer, and from this point of view, what the employers get is the workers' human capital. Okay, what workers use is his or her own human capital. Okay? So it can be in many different forms. Okay, so abilities and skills. For example, it could be something like physical abilities and physical skills. Okay, how strong they are. Okay, how fast they can finish their job. Those kind of things. Okay, how heavy objects you can lift. That can be your human capital. Okay, in those kind of jobs. Or it can be something like your learned skills, like computer skills or analytical skills. Okay, that also the human capital. So human capital is is accumulated. So it's like a capital. Okay? So it's accumulated through formal and informal education and training. Formal training is like this type of things. College education. You go to school, okay? Or you go to some type of other educational institutions and learn some skills. So that's a way of accumulating your human capital through formal ways. But there are informal ways as well. You just talk to your coworkers, okay? Talking to coworkers, and you may learn more efficient ways of doing things. You probably didn't realize it before. So that is the way of accumulating human capital. In workplaces, this informal way of transferring knowledge is also quite important. You ask your person, your let's say supervisors, okay, those kind of things. And the cost of investment in human capital are time and money. Okay? So obviously the time is quite important. You spend like quite a few years in schools, right? And also the money. Okay? So there are direct costs, obviously, that you have to pay tuitions. Also there are foregone earnings. Meaning that if you do not come to this school, you can go out and find your work and you get money. That is your opportunity cost of sitting here, right? You probably get minimum wage, I guess. So you are losing minimum wage every hour you sit here. Okay? So that's the foregone earnings. Okay? And actually quite an important thing about this is that human capital does not start at a blank slate. So it means that actually the life is unfair. Pretty much it means. Okay? Life is unfair. People do not start at the same starting line. Some people have higher abilities. Now think about the physical strength. Men and women, obviously they are different biologically. So average man can be very strong compared to average women. Okay? Even if they don't do much, they are much stronger. Even a woman spends a lot of time in doing physical workouts. Okay? It's very difficult to achieve, let's say, a level of physical strength for a man, let's say, right? So that is obviously a biological difference. But those kind of things not only apply to physical strength, also it can apply to other things, the skills. Some people probably have lower intellectual ability, higher intellectual ability, so they can, learn much faster or much slower. Or they may have different aptitude, meaning that some people do like, let's say, mathematical stuff. Some people don't like mathematics. It's not the ability. It's just that they don't like this. They do like something else. So obviously that affects how fast or how well they accumulate this type of human capital. If you do not like math, it's very difficult to learn, let's say, computer science and become good at it. If you do not like language, it's very difficult for you to learn a foreign language and be good at it, right? That's the difference also. Not only those kind of inborn characteristics, right? Inborn characteristics meaning that you are born with it, like your ability, your aptitude, or your personality, maybe even. Personality is also quite important. Okay? Let's say, some people have, let's say, very laid back attitude to their life. So, they tend to become lazier. Some people probably are more competitive. Okay? So these people may be different in terms of their human capital accumulation or family background also. Okay? So you're born to let's say, a family that have, let's say, enough means to educate their children. Okay? It's much easier if you have, let's say, rich parents. If you, let's say, are born to the less fortunate environment, okay, it's much more difficult to accumulate human capital because it requires much more effort. Okay? You probably have to earn money yourself or those kind of things. So these type of things will affect the investment in human capital decisions. Okay. So in the after after the midterm, with basic idea of human capital, we will learn about the schooling and the training. Okay, then that's it for today.